In the quiet of space, where stars glimmered like scattered diamonds, a small escape pod drifted aimlessly. Inside sat a boy named Leo, clutching a tattered photograph of his family. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but not like this. Leo had been aboard the stellar Voyager, a massive spaceship transporting settlers to a distant planet. Life on the ship had been exciting. Endless corridors to explore, windows showing breathtaking views of galaxies, and endless chatter about their new home. But everything changed one fateful night. An alarm blared. Emergency! Hull breach detected! A meteor storm had struck the ship, damaging its systems. Amid the chaos, Leo had been separated from his family. In the scramble to escape, he was shoved into a pod by a crew member. Before he could even shout their names, the hatch sealed, and the pod launched into the vast unknown. Days passed. The pod was small, with barely enough room to stretch. It had rations to last a week, and a tiny control panel that blinked with lights Leo didn't understand. He spent hours staring out the window, the silence pressing down on him. One night, as he gazed at the stars, he noticed something strange. A flickering light far in the distance. It wasn't a star, it was moving. A spark of hope lit in his chest. Could it be another ship? Leo fumbled with the controls, trying to steer toward the light. The pod jolted and sputtered, but it moved. Slowly, painfully slowly. He whispered to himself, "Come on, just a little closer." Hours turned into days as the light grew brighter. Leo rationed his food carefully, eating just enough to stay strong. To pass the time, he talked to the photo of his family. "Mom, Dad, Maya, I'll find you, I promise." Finally, the pod drew near the source of the light, a massive spaceship that seemed abandoned. Its hull was rusted and covered in scratches, but its beacon still flashed. With trembling hands, Leo docked his pod and climbed aboard. The ship's interior was dark and cold. Dust floated in the air, and the only sound was the hum of faint machinery. "Hello?" Leo called, his voice echoing down the empty corridors. He explored cautiously, using a small flashlight from the pod. In the control room, he found a terminal with flickering screens. Most of the systems were offline, but one still worked. It displayed a map of nearby star systems and a blinking dot, his location. Leo's heart leapt. The ship had navigation. If he could power it up, it might take him back to civilization. The problem was, the ship's reactor was nearly dead. To restore power, Leo needed to restart it manually. The reactor was deep in the engine room, a maze of pipes and wires. He made his way there, clutching the flashlight tightly. When he reached the reactor, he found it sparking and hissing. The manual override panel was covered in soot, but the instructions were still legible. Following them step by step, Leo twisted levers and pressed buttons, his hands shaking. Suddenly a loud thrum filled the room. Lights flickered to life, and the ship's systems began to hum. Leo grinned, but his joy was short-lived. An alarm sounded. A deep, guttural roar echoed through the ship. Something else was aboard. Leo froze, his flashlight beam trembling. In the shadows, he saw movement. A creature, hunched and sinewy, with glowing eyes that locked onto him. It had been hibernating, and the reactor's activation had woken it. Panic surged through Leo. He bolted down the corridor, the creature's footsteps pounding behind him. His small size worked to his advantage. He squeezed through a narrow vent, losing the creature in the maze-like ship. Breathing hard, Leo climbed back to the control room. He locked the door behind him and activated the ship's autopilot. The map lit up, showing a route to a nearby station. Come on," he muttered, urging the ship to move faster. The creature slammed against the door, its claws screeching against the metal. The ship shuddered as its engines roared to life, propelling it forward. The station was still hours away, but at least they were moving. As the journey continued, Leo stayed in the control room, keeping an eye on the map, and listening for any sounds of the creature. He ate the last of his rations, his stomach growling. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the station came into view, a massive structure orbiting a bright blue planet. Relief flooded Leo. He sent out a distress signal, and soon, a voice crackled through the speakers. "Unidentified vessel, this is Station Vega. We've received your signal. Prepare for docking." The ship docked smoothly, and the station's crew welcomed Leo aboard. He told them everything about the meteor storm, the escape pod, and the creature still lurking on the abandoned ship. The crew promised to investigate the ship and, more importantly, to help Leo find his family. Days later, Leo sat by a window on the station, watching ships come and go. He clutched the photo of his family, his hope renewed. Somewhere out there, they were waiting for him. As the stars twinkled in the endless void, Leo smiled. He was no longer lost. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We will meet again with another amazing story. See you in the next video.